Owning a home in a quiet suburban neighborhood was supposed to be peaceful, but for me it had turned into a daily battle. My biggest headache wasn't the traffic, the weather, or even maintenance. It was my HOA, and in particular, one woman, Karen. She was the self-proclaimed watchdog of the entire community. If a lawn grew half an inch too high, she was there. If a mailbox had a single dent, she filed a report. But her obsession didn't stop at rules. She treated other people's lives like episodes of a TV show she was directing. And unfortunately for me, her spotlight was locked onto me. It all started when I bought a used car, a shiny, well-kept SUV that I'd been saving for. The very next day, Karen saw me park it in my driveway. Instead of congratulating me or even ignoring it, she stormed up with that usual mix of arrogance and fake authority. "That car doesn't belong here," she snapped. "We have rules about unsightly vehicles." Unsightly? The car was in perfect shape. But with Karen, logic never mattered. She acted like the HOA handbook was a weapon, and she was the general ready to swing it at anyone who dared step out of line. Days went by, and I noticed Karen eyeing my SUV every time she passed. Sometimes she'd slow her walk, take photos, and whisper into her phone. I brushed it off, thinking maybe she was building another petty complaint for the HOA board. But little did I know she was brewing something far bigger and far more insane. Karen had convinced herself, and maybe even others, that the SUV wasn't mine at all. She believed it was her new car, the one she had just ordered. And in her twisted logic, she decided I had stolen it. The breaking point came one quiet Saturday morning. I stepped into my garage to get some tools when I noticed the SUV needed a quick battery check. I opened the garage door, hopped into the driver's seat, and turned it on. The engine purred smoothly, music to my ears. But within seconds, I heard the shrillest scream echo across the street. "Thief! He's stealing my car!" I froze, turning my head, and sure enough, there was Karen standing on the sidewalk, waving her arms like she was flagging down traffic. Before I could even process what was happening, Karen pulled out her phone and dialed 911, screaming so loudly that the entire block came outside. "Officer, get here quick! Someone is stealing my brand new car." "Yes, he's in my neighbor's garage." Neighbors looked at each other in confusion, some staring at me as if I'd suddenly transformed into a criminal. I stepped out of the SUV, hands raised, trying to calm the storm. "This is my car, Karen. I have the title, the paperwork, everything." But she was too deep in her fantasy. Her face was red, veins popping, and she shouted back, "Liar! I just bought that exact car. This is VIN theft." Within minutes, police sirens wailed down the street. 2 squad cars pulled up, lights flashing. Officers jumped out, one of them immediately asking me to step away from the vehicle. Karen ran up to them, breathless with fake panic. "That's him! He stole my car! Arrest him before he drives off." I could see some neighbors shaking their heads, whispering under their breath. They knew Karen's reputation, but none of them dared interfere, not with police involved. My heart raced, but I kept my cool. "Officers," I said calmly, "I can prove ownership. Please, let's check my paperwork." The officers split their attention. One of them took Karen aside while the other stayed with me. I went into the house, grabbed my folder of documents, and laid them out. The bill of sale, registration, title, and insurance card, all with my name on them. The officer flipped through carefully, nodding with every page. Meanwhile, Karen's voice carried across the street. "Don't believe him!" He probably faked those papers. "Criminals do that, right?" She was desperately trying to salvage her collapsing story, but the louder she got, the more ridiculous she sounded. Finally, one officer returned from his squad car holding a tablet. "We ran the VIN," he said firmly. "This vehicle is registered to him, not you." Karen's jaw dropped. "No, that can't be. I ordered that exact car. The dealership promised it." The officer raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, even if you ordered a similar car, this one clearly isn't yours. Making a false police report is a serious matter." The crowd of neighbors erupted in murmurs. For the first time, Karen wasn't the feared enforcer. She was the spectacle. Karen's voice cracked as she tried one last defense. "But he's always causing trouble with the HOA. He's a rule breaker." The officer cut her off sharply. "That has nothing to do with today's incident. You called 911 claiming a car theft. You wasted emergency resources, harassed your neighbor, and stirred up unnecessary panic." Karen's smug mask melted away, replaced with panic. She stuttered, trying to backpedal, but the officers warned her that further stunts like this could lead to charges. They didn't cuff her that day, but the message was clear. Her authority wasn't law, and her lies had limits. As the squad cars left and neighbors slowly returned to their homes, I stood in the driveway, feeling both exhausted and vindicated. The SUV gleamed in the sunlight, no longer just a car. It had become a symbol of resistance against Karen's madness. For years she had bullied and intimidated, but this time her obsession had gone too far. She tried to weaponize the police against me, and it backfired spectacularly. From that day on, every time I opened my garage, I did it with a smile. Because no matter how loud Karen screamed, the truth and the law were finally louder.